Going to start with Saudi Arabia and Aramco, the state-owned oil company. Second quarter profits are tumbling by more than a third from last year's record highs. Two reasons: lower crude oil prices and thinner margins in refining oil. However, Aramco raised its payout to shareholders with nearly $30 billion in a performance dividend. The Saudi government owns around 90% of the company, and the dividend payout will mainly go to them. This increase in dividend income will be beneficial for the Saudi government as they rely heavily on Aramco's revenues. The Saudi government is investing in diversification programs, building infrastructure projects and new tourist destinations, considering the decline in oil demand in the future. The income from Aramco is critical for these projects. The interesting aspect is that these oil profits are being reinvested into green energy projects worldwide. Saudi Arabia is limiting oil supply as part of OPEC+, which started late last year. The rationale behind this decision is not mentioned in the script. I think the Saudis are the leaders of OPEC+, which is the oil cartel, and they're also the largest exporters of oil in the world. About 10 million barrels, or a little over that now. What the Saudis are seeing is that oil prices have been going down. They've been hovering around $75 for most of the year. For the Saudis to make money, to be able to break even, they need oil prices to be at about $80 to $85. That's why they have voluntarily cut oil production by 1 billion barrels since July. Because they want the oil supply to tighten a bit, which could prop up prices. That's why they have gone ahead and extended those cuts, anticipating that prices may go up. Now, the reason behind that is because Saudi is an OPEC and other international agencies expect oil demand to actually decline due to the economic headwinds and because of tightening monetary policy. This is having an impact on businesses across the globe. The second reason is China. Now, China is the largest consumer of oil in the world. Many oil companies and oil exporters had expected that demand would really zoom in China once they open the country post-COVID, but that hasn't really happened. The recovery hasn't been that swift, which is why there are concerns that oil demand could decline in the second half of the year. Now, lots of people around the world may not actually be familiar with Saudi Aramco. We're more familiar perhaps with companies such as Apple, such as Google, Meta, for example. But this is a huge company that in fact dwarfs many of the better-known companies around the world. Well, that's right. Saudi Aramco is one of the largest publicly listed companies in the world. Its market value is in trillions, one of the few companies. And the reason is that it's the largest exporter of oil in the world. Saudi Arabia as a country sits on about 16 to 17% of all reserves in the world. So that makes Saudi a very significant market when it comes to energy. And Saudi Aramco being the main national oil company, they are the ones who are exporting and pumping that oil. So that makes them one of the most significant companies in the world. Thank you very much, Samir Smith Hashmi in the Middle East Forest.